Welcome to the Gracie Jiu-jitsu Academy. My name is Hidon Gracie, and this is my brother Henner.
In the late 1920s, our grandfather, Eliu Gracie, created Gracie Jiu-jitsu, an incredible system of self-defense designed to empower the weak against the strong. Then, in 1993, our father, Horion Gracie, created the Ultimate Fighting Championship to showcase the effectiveness of Gracie Jiu-jitsu to the world. And finally, in 2008, my brother and I decided it was time to teach our family system to the world, so we developed Gracie Combatives, the most comprehensive at-home instructional DVD series ever produced for self-defense.
And on top of that, we created GracieUniversity.com, where students can ask questions, find training partners, and test for official belt promotions from anywhere in the world.
But it wasn't until we stumbled upon a shocking statistic released by the National Education Association that we realized it was time to do something equally impactful for children.
The NEA stated that over 160,000 kids miss school every day out of fear of bullies.
Researchers also found that 75% of school shootings could be linked to bullying, and that adults who were bullied as children had much higher levels of depression and much lower self-esteem than those who weren't.
So the worst part isn't even the bullying. It's the psychological trauma that can last a lifetime.
If your child is targeted by a bully, the first and most important thing they must do is stand up for themselves verbally. But the problem is that most children won't have the confidence to do this unless they can defend themselves physically, and that's where this program comes into play.
Most parents feel when their child learns a martial art, they will get into more fights. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Tell them why.
We've taught thousands of kids, some of whom came to us as bullies. But invariably, we found that the more they learned and the more confident the kids became, the less likely they were to get into fights. Now, when Hiro and I decided it was time to do this fully comprehensive at-home program for kids, we were troubled for quite some time because we realized that most kids wouldn't have the discipline or the necessary training partner to complete the program on their own. Then it dawned on us that the absolute only way to make it work would be if we taught you, the parents, how to teach your children.
So you can give your child the exact same learning experience that our father gave us.
Now, this sounds a lot easier than it actually was because up until now, we had never documented the intricacies of our father's child teaching methodologies, specifically how he was able to keep us engaged and excited about learning jiu-jitsu from such a young age.
Fortunately, our father had 10 children, 3 of which are currently under 10 years old.
And this gave us the incredibly unique opportunity to watch our father using the exact same teaching methodologies on our little brothers that he used on us.
And now that we've learned his secrets, we want to share them so that you too can raise your child the Gracie way.
Here's our promise. If you follow the advice we've included in this program, your child will no longer be victimized by bullies.
They will become more disciplined,
and their confidence will go through the roof.
Not to mention, the bond between you and your child will increase tremendously.
The strategies you're about to learn worked on us, and we guarantee they will work for you. Grab a chair and let's get started. So, if you expect nothing and you praise everything, how do you get your child to progress? And how do they get better at a technique if you can't carve away at their mistakes? If someone messes up, someone's doing anything, right? And they mess up, you say, hey, don't do that. Don't do that, do this. It's the easiest way. It's the easiest way. We call that pull teaching. We don't like pull teaching. We like push teaching. If this is the child's capabilities, this is their ability currently, and you want them to get here, okay? You can get there by highlighting their errors and their mistakes, and then hopefully they'll fix those mistakes, or you can get there by pushing them. So instead of pulling them with errors, you push them with praise and the transfer teaching strategy. Transfer teaching.
Transfer teaching. If basically an example that our father uses is a child eating. So if you're 8 months old, 6 months old, you're not using a spoon by yourself eating your food.
You're doing it for me.
I'll hold the spoon and I'm gonna feed him. Right? I might even have to open his mouth for him too. Okay? 6 months later, we put the spoon in his hand. Now that spoon's not gonna go in his mouth for sure. So I'm gonna grab the hand and the spoon together and hold his neck. And do this. Together. Now, one day I'm gonna let go of the hand. And maybe it'll go halfway. And I'm like, hey, calm down. Here. Okay, again, good. And not in your nose, right there, good. See that?
So what's the moral of the story? In the beginning, Hidon did everything. The full responsibility of the technique lied in the hands of the teacher. And then little by little, the responsibility was transferred to me. Now, that transfer is done in a very positive way. When Hidon grabs my hand with the spoon and he puts it in, and I did that for the first time, he goes, good, amazing. Then eventually I do it on my own one time, very good. And you keep praising, but you're doing it for them. And naturally, with the praise and your involvement, they will eventually do it on their own, little by little. What's the key to the transfer teaching strategy? Patience.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's so much more efficient to just say, no, do this, do that, do this, do that. But guess what? Efficiency with people isn't always the best way. Patience.
We have some 4-year-old kids that we teach, 5-year-old kids, and the parents watch us during the classes, and we're teaching the kids. And the parents they watch, and like, wow, my kid is doing really good. They're doing the move right. They're throwing Hidon on the ground. They're ending up on top. There's a lot of movement that's happening. The parent can't even see that the kid is just limp.
Ragdoll.
100%, it's myself or Henner moving the child from the side to the top to standing.
Yeah. All we want is that the child feels the correct movement. And we are literally putting them in the right position and doing it for them in the Gracie Games. And even in some of the junior combatives classes. But the Gracie Games more specifically, you'll see we have one assistant who's helping us, and she is this tall. Her name is Alyssa. She's 4 years old, but I think she might be 2.5 or 3, okay? Because she is tiny. Now, with the techniques, we literally do them for her. We are the ones grabbing her and moving her around. And what you're going to see is, all we do is move her like a rag doll, and all we say is, good, amazing. And the move isn't done perfect, but that's all good.
We're 100% sure it's going to pay off.
Oh, man, because she's associating the correct body movement with amazing. And she'll slowly take the responsibility of the technique when she is ready, not when we want her to.
It'll probably only happen in a year.
Yes.
1 year of patience.
We don't decide when Alyssa is ready. Alyssa decides when she is ready. Until then, all we can do is do our best to do the move for her. Take the responsibility and then transfer it to the child. The most important thing is patience and trusting the
time, the system. Trust the system that in time that it'll all come together.
100%.
All of it.
There's no way it won't. The only way you can ruin the transfer teaching is by trying to pull them to the top with corrections, errors, and everything they're doing wrong. It's more efficient.
Yeah.
But guess what? You'll lose them very quickly. So transfer teaching. It's the key to progress, to the child's progress without violating the golden rule, without expecting more than they can give. You do the move for them. Pay close attention in the Gracie Games, and you'll see that, wow, these kids look amazing. But then really look closer, and you're going to say, wow, the kids are barely doing anything. We're the ones doing everything. And then in time, we transfer it. Incredible. The results will be incredible. Next, we're going to talk about the most common mistake